Hello and welcome to the FrostySith channel. Thanks for joining. We're on our third installment of the Keto Trail Series, where we bring you backpacking meals that will keep you in the keto zone. They're easy to fix, practical, lightweight, and definitely high on the fat calories. They're also just as good hot as they are cold soaked. So let's jump in and get to it. We're going to need several things to prepare this. We're going to need a food scale of some kind, some measuring devices, and for simplicity we're going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon, and a tablespoon. We're also going to need some bowls to measure some things out in. And then we're going to need all the ingredients, which I'm fixing to go through. The first one that we're going to start with is the chicken for the chicken carbonara, which is generally an Italian themed dish that's kind of heavy on the garlic and onions. And so we're going to go zero out our scale. And then we're looking for 1 serving of the chicken, which in this case would yield 3/4 of a cup, 34 grams dry, and that's going to give us 24 grams of protein and 8 grams of fat. And then we're going to be adding, so we're looking for 32 grams here, 34 grams. Okay. And then it's really humid here. It's been raining, so we're going to go ahead and vacuum seal this. So the next step that we're going to do is mix up the fats, and traditionally you would use cream. We're going to use coconut milk, and by varying the concentration of the powder, you can get the equivalent of coconut cream. And then we're going to vacuum seal all of the powdered stuff together. And so we're going to start with the powdered coconut milk. And we're going to go with 4 tablespoons. Of the coconut milk. And then to get the fats up, we're going to be using the coconut oil powder, and we're going to go with 2 scoops. Of that. And we're going to be going with 1 scoop of the MCTs. And that's the brand we're using. There's the macros. We're going to go over the nutritional information at the end. And then with the grass-fed organic butter powder, we're going to go with a tablespoon of that. I mean, this is supposed to be, you know, a rich cream sauce. Is what we're supposed to end up with. And let's see. I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of Himalayan salt in there, and then vacuum seal that, and I'll be right back. Okay. now we are going to put together the cheese portion of this, and we pack the cheese portion. So we're going to go, and this is Parmesan and Romano, which is what I like. If you want to go with straight Parmesan, you can. And we're going to go with 4 tablespoons of the Parmesan Ramano, and then I've got some other Parmesan cheese, and these are kind of like cheese crisps, except they're not flat. They're kind of like croutons, and we're going to go with 5 grams of those. Whoops, over there. Okay, that's what we're going with. And we're going to add the bacon to that. And the reason is that even though these are generally dry ingredients, so I'm using, just for convenience, the chopped bacon, Hormel brand. And we're going to go with kind of a heaping tablespoonful, which is really more like almost 2 tablespoons, tablespoon and a half probably, but heaping tablespoon of the bacon. And then we're going to pack this stuff together because even though they're generally on the dry side, they're really moist ingredients. They have some moisture in them, and so we want them separate from the very dry powders that we just packed up. So let me go vacuum seal those, and I'll be back and we will do the vegetable herb component. Okay. All right, still 0. As I mentioned earlier, chicken carbonara is generally heavy on the garlic and the onion. And so we've got freeze-dried garlic here. And we're going to go with the solid tablespoonful of the freeze-dried garlic. And a tablespoonful of minced onions. And then we're going to add to that several herbs. So cilantro, and if you don't like cilantro, you can just omit this, but we're going to go with a half teaspoon of cilantro. Quarter teaspoon of oregano. Quarter teaspoon of basil. This is an Italian themed dish after all. And then chives, which really are part of the onion family, or I think of them that way. We're going to go with a teaspoon, so 2 of these half teaspoonfuls of freeze-dried chives. And those are the herbs. So we're going to vacuum seal those, and then we're going to put one of these together in a shaker jar and show you, if you were to cold soak it, how that comes out. And then I'll talk about, olives and other textural components that you can use in the final product, along with, we can talk about options of tortillas versus bread rolls, etc. So let me get that sealed up and we'll be back and mix up a cold soak. And we've got everything vacuum sealed. So just out of curiosity's sake, without extras, these things with the vacuum seal packaging, I could go get a bowl, but looks like a little less than 10 ounces for the basic dish. Yeah, 228 grams with the packaging. So now we're gonna mix up one for cold soak to show you that. Okay, so mixed up another batch and have it in the shaker container, and I didn't tear out the container, so I guess it doesn't matter. The volume, because this wasn't vacuum sealed, the volume's a little more than what it's going to be, you know, when you take this and put it in there out in the field. But we're going to go ahead and add some water to this. And put the lid on and shake it. Okay, I don't see any clumps or anything. That's great. And we did that so that we would have more room for the chicken. Add a little more water. Try not to make a mess. It's been about 45 minutes of just cold soaking sitting here, and you can see the consistency is pretty good. It's thickened up a bit. There's plenty of sauce there. The chicken is surely fully hydrated at this point. And it would probably actually soak a lot more than that in the field, because typically I would do this, stop someplace an hour or so before I wanted to eat, and go ahead and mix it up and then hike around with it in my bag. So that looks great. And of course you could add, if you were wanting calories, you could add some of the low carb tortillas to this. You could potentially bring bread with you, but I don't do that, and I wouldn't actually do either. I would eat this out of the bowl. I probably would take these green olives and add those in here just as room allowed, you know, stir them up and add them in here. You get a little extra. There's 8 servings in the whole bag. So, you know, 8 times 1.5 grams of fat, less than 1 gram of carbohydrate. And so just add a little more Mediterranean flair to it. And I like olives. Some people don't like olives, and if you don't like olives, then something that would be good would be pistachios. You could, you know, work this into your total meal plan, have these, you know, vacuum sealed like the rest of your stuff in your meal bag, and just ready to add in there and mix up, give it a little extra texture, and fat calories. And pistachios are great for keto. So let's go jump on Cronometer and take a look at the nutritional information. Okay, so now we're over here at Cronometer.com. There is an app for your phone device as well, but this is through the website, Cronometer.com. I'm logged into my account, and this is where I prepare the recipes and menus for both in-house and backcountry keto meals that I do. And so today we're here to look at the nutritional information from the third installment of the Keto Trail video series on the FrostySith channel, and we'll be looking at the Keto Chicken Carbonara nutritional facts. And so if we just look over to the right here and go over the macros, we'll see that in this recipe there's about 914 total calories. If I scroll down a little bit, that's 176 almost grams dry weight, not counting the packaging of the recipe. And so if we take 176 divided by 28, so that's about 6.125 ounces. And then if we take the 914 divided by 6.28, that's about 145 calories per ounce, so good efficiency on the weight to calorie ratio. Now let's take a look at the major macros. So fat, we've got almost 73 grams of fat out of that 176. We've got, it looks like 11.3 net carbohydrates, so that would be 17.3 minus the 6 grams of fiber would give you 11.3, and then 58 grams of protein. So if we then take 72.6 grams of fat times 9 calories per gram, that's 625 calories, 653 calories from fat divided by 914, and that's almost 72%. 71.5% of the calories in this recipe are coming from fat. And then let's do the protein. So 58 times 4 calories per gram, 232 calories from protein divided by the 914, and that's 25% from protein and 0.7147 from fat. So you're getting almost 97% of the calories in this recipe are coming from fat at 72%, and then the rest from protein. So that's leaving you with slightly over 3 percentage points from net carbohydrates. So 3.15% from net carbohydrates. One of the other things, so this is a great keto recipe and definitely keeps you in the keto zone, and it also leaves you a lot of flexibility with your menu planning for the day, because you're going to have plenty of extra room in your macros for carbohydrates, and whether that's from dark chocolate or a keto dessert or snacks maybe at different times during the day that you take. And so this is really a great base recipe to work from. One of the things I'd like to point out is that the olives, green or otherwise, that we talked about in the video, those are not included in the nutrient information we just reviewed or in the ingredients listing here. So this is the base recipe that we did the cold soak on in the video, and I would still probably add the olives if it were me, and certainly you could add nuts, pistachios, etc., and you would just add those into your meal planning to get your total calories and volumes the way that you like them. So just keep that in mind. The other thing, if we look at the nutritional information, let's see how much sodium we're getting. We're getting over 3 grams, 3.1 grams of sodium. Potassium is a little over 0.3 grams at 370 milligrams. If you wanted to kick the potassium up a little more, you could substitute some of the Himalayan pink salt for the no salt, which is a potassium chloride brand. And then, as usual, Chronometer does a great job in breaking down the nutrient information based on what you picked. And so if you're really wanting to drill down into the vitamin profile, minerals, protein, lipids, etc., if you pick the right items and add them into your recipe, then it will certainly help you do that. So that covers the bulk of this episode 3 for the Keto Chicken Carbonara. Really like to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button, and either way, leave a comment. Love to hear from you, and please subscribe and make sure to hit the bell after you subscribe, because if you don't, YouTube is not going to notify you the next time you log into YouTube. You're not going to know that we've added new video content to the FrostySith channel. So hit the bell, get notifications, and remember to get up, get out, and move a little. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.